just the beginning of an extended cycle. There's money to be made in all aspects. So we're going to find that shit together.
All right, so that's all sounding excellent, man. And yeah, I'm also looking forward to giving you doing a little one-on-one catch up with you, Mr. Crypto Vet. And so like I said, I literally just came in, so we're gonna do this together. I'm gonna pull up my chart here for a second, just so I know where we're starting. I did see, which is such magic and such a good bullish indication. We did retest a little bit of the downward resistance that we had, and it looks like we broke above the 20 SMA. We had a great daily close, finally, not only above the 20 SMA, but also above 50,000, which is absolutely huge. It's starting to sing those bullish praises and that bullish song that we've been waiting on with all these bullish fundamentals for the last month. And we're finally starting to see that uptick sort of bleed through into the actual price action, and the confidence is starting to shift. We're getting a little bit of a rounding bottom here. So yeah, what kind of stuff are you seeing on the charts, Mr. Vet?
Man, on the charts right now, we're starting to see a little bit of volume coming to back what we've seen as this little bullish breakout. But for me, I'm still kind of along the lines with you. Everything is showing bullish. However, we're just not quite seeing it in the price action. And there's any theory you want to go with, from manipulation to, just the markets just really are like this. Until we get above about 52,000 and get some volume, I'm kind of thinking we're sideways. It would really piss people off if we stayed right here, came back down to 47 for another 2-3 weeks, and then sometime in the middle of January, when people finally give up, that's when it would pump. That's what crypto markets does to people, especially when
Yeah.
they think they can trade it to the best of their knowledge, and at 50x leverage, that's exactly when it does the opposite or continues sideways until you're stopped out.
Yeah, I mean, we could honestly, and I'm not trying to pour any water on the bullish fire we got starting to simmer here, but I do want everybody to remain prepared and vigilant on both sides, especially in the type of market where we're at right now. The market's going to do everything it can to shake out as many people as possible, and there could be some bullish sentiment coming in. Also, knowing that we have Christmas in 2 days, so there could be a lot of last minute gift buying. For sending different Bitcoin or other crypto stuff as gifts. We'll see how that plays out this year, especially that we're having a lot more mass adoption internationally. But we very well could push up right here, get rejected at 50. Well, we just broke through 51. All right. We could push up past 52 and reject at 53, and then go back down and test 45 and even 42. But I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. But as long as we're above 40, I'm happy. And if we push up through here in 53, I really honestly think that we might get a small uptick in volume, but I'm sort of predicting or forecasting that we're not going to really see that crazy volume that's going to give us the super volatile price swings until we push up very solid with confirmation, not just one candle, but a couple candle closes, not only 4-hour candle closes, but a daily or two above 53. And I do think we'll start getting an uptick in volume. Some volatility will start to come in, and I'm fairly certain, based on every price action I've ever seen in the history of my experience with crypto, we're going to definitely hit some resistances along the way up to all-time high. And the previous all-time high will be a pretty firm resistance. And we're going to do one of two things. We're either going to go up there and bounce off it a few times, and then sort of form some sort of ascending triangle. Like an ascending wedge sort of the deal that breaks past that, after a few tests. Or we're just going to get super exuberant once we pass about 60K, and we'll blast right through it. But I really think that we're going to get a lot of volume, and the crazy volume, and those some people call them those God candles that happened at the very end of the bull run. Once we pass old all-time high, and it's almost like no holds barred, I think we're going to get a lot of volume. But that doesn't mean we're going to go from previous all-time high, 67, 69, straight to 100,000. We still have a couple key points along the way, around the 75 level, around the 85 level, and especially once we get up towards 100. So definitely have hopium. It's fun, but trade smart, trade with, use the tools at your disposal. We have more tools than any trader in history, with not only access to the internet, but, having something like TradingView, which, where you can do your fib retracements or your fib extensions, And you can map out different targets, and use your Bollinger Bands, use your MACD, use all the indicators at your disposal. And if you're not entirely sure, or you're feeling a little unfamiliar with any of these, that's okay, because we got all kind of different content on the web every day, from the Crypto Jebb channel every morning, to Crypto Banter, to Crypto Vet when he parks some of his other stuff for a little bit and gets back on and does a stream. But there's so much availability here to gain access to the knowledge you need to do this. And also, this weekly show, I guess right now it feels like a monthly show because we haven't done it in 3 weeks, but hopping into these Twitter spaces. And and I just want everybody to know, I think I'd really like that we didn't bring any super duper special guests this time like we have before, other than Crypto Vet, who's a super special guest always.
I don't know about that. I'll bring someone cooler next time.
No, yeah, right. But I wanted this to be a bit more interactive. If anybody has any questions or comments about crypto or Bitcoin trading, whatever it is, at any point in this stream, go ahead and request on the very bottom left corner, and we'll do some interactive stuff here and talk about anything you want to talk about. And I'll even give you some of my current microcap picks and altcoin picks that I'm looking at, and we can discuss, and vice versa. But I do see Crypto RL. Artie's queued up to speak, so let's just jump right in, brother. How you doing, Crypto RL?
Hey, Kel, thanks for that, man. I was gonna say I'm thinking of the market a bit along your lines there, because I think quite a bit of bullish sentiment is coming back, maybe a little bit too quickly. And what I've got on my charts here is maybe that we're just completing an ABC back up to the upside, with maybe a little bit more downside running into the start of next year. Maybe people will start calling the shots there of that being the real bear market. But I think at that point we're just finishing off a macro wave 4 for me, and then I think running into 2022 we're going to probably see the god candles that we're talking about. But I think we're going to get there in a way where it's going to shake more and more people out, chop more and more traders out. And I'm not a trader myself. I'm just a spot holder. Maybe you can call that a trader, swing trading, but no leverage or anything like that, because I think in this crypto market, you don't really need it, in my opinion. I mean,
you don't
at all. I keep trying to teach that.
The crypto market is like trading traditional markets on leverage already.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it moves so quickly. But you're so right. And I do want to say, though, one of the things that kind of popped in my mind earlier today is that we are absolutely coming to the close of the year, and there's no way to contest that. That's just how calendars work. And with that, I'm not entirely sure what the tax laws are in other country or when they have the end of their fiscal year. But I know in the U.S., the end of our fiscal year is basically midnight, December 31st. And one of the things that we could watch for is there may be some, I don't want to say tax harvesting, but some basically wash trading where people let go of an asset, right before the start of the year and then rebuy right after the year. So there could be some movement on that. It's going to kind of depend on if the market's way up or way down, whether that's going to be relevant in terms of where the average sort of price is on wallets. But I don't think it's going to be something that will cause a major swing. But if there is any big movement right around, it seems odd, right around December 27th into the 31st. I wouldn't, just one of the weird parts about technical analysis is not science, it's an art. And one of the most critical components of that art is not only looking at the absolute scientific data on the chart and all the mathematical equations and the data you're getting from that, but understanding it and weighing it against the context of what's happening in the real world and in the market and other markets and dates on a calendar. But that was a great input, Crypto RL. You got anything else you wanna add? It seems like you got a lot on your mind about crypto.
No, that was really good, in my opinion. Or are you talking to other crypto? Which crypto?
Either or, Crypto RL or Crypto Vet, just Crypto V or Crypto R.
Because I agree 100%. As an analyst, I always go back and I reevaluate things with slightly different parameters to see what changes. And then, this can help build some sort of timeline or roadmap as to what's going to happen. And the fact that you mentioned that we could potentially be in wave 4 and see our God candle later in the year is exactly what I was kind of working towards earlier, specifically because of Biden in the U.S. pushing the student loan forgiveness until May 5th or May 1st, something like that, which is starting to overlap with a lot of kind of U.S. tax implications, stimulus, money things that are all kind of bubbling out at the same time. And that would happen right after we need to file our taxes. So for me, it showed like wave 5 really blowing out in March, right before April. And that's kind of where we would see the 6-figure area Bitcoin in just one scenario. Now, there's tons of ways you can play it out and try other things to see what works. But I'm just ready to see what happens. It's definitely going to go up in the long run. I just hope we don't have to wait 4 more years.
No, I completely agree, and I do think we're going to start getting upward movement, but it's hard to remember sometimes when staring at the chart every between 3 to 13 minutes. I can't count how many times I look at the chart during the day, but we forget. I was talking to Jebb about this yesterday. Sometimes I'll be looking at the chart so much in a somewhat boring period, and it feels like the price isn't moving at all. And you zoom out, 2 or 3 weeks back or a month back, and you realize the price has moved $20,000. And you're like, how the hell did I feel like this isn't moving? That is a little too regularly zoomed in. So it's good to zoom out sometimes and take into context, especially even right now. We're coming to the end of the year. Look at where we were January 1st, 2021. It'll be surprising for you to even feel like we're in a dip because we're so much above where we were January 1st, 2021. But I do think what I wanted to say was it's hard to remember that upward, especially in crypto markets for now, bullish cycles, especially towards the end, but bullish cycles, they work in a basically shape. The chart formations are very relevant and correlated with that of a parabola. And at first, while you might feel like you're getting strong upward movement, towards the end, if you look back at like 2017, into 2018, it was it felt like it could not go up any faster. And every week it went up, especially towards the end, it was just exponential until the blow off top. So we are going to start having some upward movement here whenever it happens. But I do think that my sort of projection is that the absolute earliest the top would be about mid-February. But I'm leaning definitely towards probably the end of like the third week of March to the first week of April, somewhere in there. So we got time. So get yourself positioned. Don't worry about the dips. And at the end of the day, even if it dropped from here, we go in 4-year cycles. So, and with all the institutional investment coming in, which I'm sure is going to happen after the January 1st, regardless of what the market does, I think that we're going to get a lot of layering in of institutional money and big money because it's basically a new tax year. And there's people who've just been waiting on the sidelines too long. So all you have to do, if you feel like you're a little bit underwater, is you just got to be a little bit patient. If you're not actively trading to change that, just be patient, and the market will at some point be above your entry price. So patience is key. You never lose money until you sell when you're below your entry price.
Yeah, Kelly, I was going to maybe mention there, and maybe linking back to earlier this year, when we had the major big sell-off, which I'm saying is the start of the wave 4 correction. If you look at the accumulation that took place there, maybe to support an extended cycle would be the fact that maybe then people, the big money that was accumulating there will maybe want to hold that for about so if they're maybe thinking about holding that for a year, that sort of extends the cycle into May, June, July. And like you said earlier, if it all depends on when people got into the market, because if you got into the market last year, 2019, 2020, you're probably doing quite well now, and you're probably in a position where you can, you've had your time to take a bit off the table, so you can benefit from a bear market if it does happen. If that bear market happens, you've got the profit there from all that patience of a couple of years ago. But if we continue into the bull market, great, you've still left some on the table. So I think it's just a matter of patience. Don't overthink it. And I think you're right there when you say about looking at the charts, because I remember when I first bought a bit of Convex Finance, one of my favourite projects, at about £3 or £4, and I was thinking it's just not moving. And then I just didn't go on my phone for a couple of months, and I look back now and it's like £30 odd, and maybe I'd have psyched myself out if I was looking at the chart all the time. So take a bit of time away from the charts, enjoy Christmas, with your family and whatever, and come back, get it in the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like what you get paid for, in this market. 99% of people aren't going to be as profitable as they hope to be. 99% of people that watch Crypto Face, and just because they buy a market cipher doesn't mean you're going to trade like him. There's more than reading an indicator. There's a lot of intuition, and having intuition in a market only comes from having deep experience in it. It's kind of like, I was doing a video on it today for some of the content, and intuition is critical to technical analysis, because it's not just about identifying charts and patterns and targets and breakouts and fib extensions and all these sorts of things, but it's like when you think about like a lion on the savannah, a lion doesn't think about positioning itself and which gazelle it's going to kill and where it's going to which step it's going to take, and it doesn't think about it. It's just absolutely innate, because it's such an experienced hunter, especially over hundreds of thousands of years, where it's programmed into their DNA. And so the intuition allows them to take over without fully consciously thinking about every move. And so you've got to do thousands and thousands of trades and thousands of hours of trading and studying to have that deep intuition. So I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but I'm just trying to say, buying an indicator doesn't buy you a right to win every trade that you got. Putting in thousands of hours, or on the flip side, this whole point was most people in the market, and actually most people in the market that have made good money, they're getting paid for having been patient. So patience is absolutely key. You'll make more money just buying and holding. If you want to try to time some tops, that's fine. But just because you sold where you thought a top was, and then it drops a little bit and then shoots way back up, don't rebuy in at a higher price. Wait until the market cycle. Wait until we're at a point in the market cycle, unless you're a super experienced trader, to where you make sure if you sell, the next buy you do is below your entry price. Is below your last exit price. Otherwise, you're just kind of playing this. You're playing a FOMO trading game, and it actually will not work out for you in the long run.
For sure.
Oh, it looks like we got Matt C in the house too. Let's bring up some Matt C here. And hey, Crypto RL, you can
thanks,
stay on there too. We'd love to get some more talking with you on here as well. You got some great stuff to add, so I appreciate you. So if you want, you can stay on there as a speaker, and we can just hop back in here in a moment. And right now, we're going to bring up Mr. Matt C. How you doing, brother? Are you there, Mr. Matt MC? McKitty Cat.
This is how he treats family.
Oh, it's okay. Well,
hold on.
Why don't you tell us a little?
Hey, hey,
oh, there you go. Yeah, there you are.
Sorry, guys. I was muted. My bad.
Go, take it away, brother.
How you doing?
How you doing? Doing excellent, man. How you doing?
Good. Kelly, it was great to have you at Crypto Jebb site. How has it been hanging with the fellas?
Oh, it's been excellent. It's interesting, despite the whole cryptocurrency metaverse thing, but just in my own world, feeling like I've been living in the metaverse since I work from home up in New York, and I've been working with the Jebb team for 5-6 months now, and I already feel like I've known them so deeply well, because we're on Zoom all day long, every day, with different meetings, content. It was interesting actually walking into the office. And looking, I'm not a short guy. I'm a fairly slightly above average height, and it was interesting to walk in and stare Jebb straight in the eye, and he's exactly the same height I am, and Tim, he's just such a lovely guy, and the whole crew is just every single person at the Crypto Jebb team. If anybody ever wonders if anything they do is malicious or ill-intentioned or something that isn't full of integrity, then they must be actually watching somebody else's channel, because every one of these guys in the office and every staff member that works on the team is some of the most beautiful people I've ever met. They're just so kind and so wonderful. And every meeting we have is rooted in, their company mission, or now our company mission, now that I'm part of their team, which is how do we give the best content possible to help affect people's lives in a positive way. That's the only intention. And we're doing that through cryptocurrency content. But of course, we also layer in other stuff and personal stories and life. But it's all about how do we achieve better financial freedom and do it in a way that serves us so we can serve others. You know what I'm saying? So it's been wonderful.
Yeah, and it's really obvious. I think, like you said, if anybody can't recognize that from, watching for more than 10 minutes, then they're just, I don't know what they're seeing, because they're clearly an amazing group of fellows over there, and certainly have helped my life, as you guys all know. I did have a macro question. It kind of tags on to what you guys were talking about a little bit earlier. What do you guys think? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that we're going into a lengthening cycle, right? We're not going to get the blow off top here in the next 5 days. And with that, do you think that we're kind of getting to that point where the halving is going to start to really have less and less effect, especially as more big money comes in and the market just starts to stabilize? Like, I mean, I'm almost starting to think that the 4-year cycle might turn out being a thing of the past, and we just grind up, have 30, 35% retracements, grind up for another 3 to 5 months, have a retracement. I mean, do you guys kind of see it leveling off like that, or do you still think we're going to get parabolic run, 80% dip, and then we do nothing for 2 years, and then repeat?
Well, I think that's a great question, and it's a great speculation. I think that you're right, and I'm already starting to see it in on-chain data and in price action. I'm thinking that the halving will definitely have less of an effect, but I think more important than the halving is a huge amount of big money that's in play and institutional investments, and as I mentioned earlier, the innumerable amount of money that's going to be coming into the market in not only this next year, but more specifically the next 4 years. And every I almost said dollar, every amount of any asset that's invested into Bitcoin stabilizes it further and further and further. It makes it like a much larger ship, essentially. And early on, a halving was everything, because it's kind of like if you've ever participated in a microcap coin or even altcoins back in 2017. I remember, I felt like a whale, man. I remember I did like a $10,000 purchase of I did like a 10K purchase of a microcap, and it moved the price like 6%. Like it was on that moment, and it started to run. I was like, hold it, what's going on? And that's essentially what the halvings were early with Bitcoin, where it's worth no money, and like you're dividing, instead of having 50 Bitcoin, now only 25 Bitcoin. That has
Right.
there's a lot more speculative movement there, but every dollar that goes into, or any asset that goes into Bitcoin, stabilizes it further, but also has less of an effect. The halving and stuff, the supply shock has less of an effect. But yeah, that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts, Mr. Vet?
I agree 100%. I think the 4-year cycle was a great template. Very exactly much so why the stock to flow was so accurate, and I still think it is accurate. It's just a little bit postponed due to huge socioeconomic changes in a pandemic that you can't quite factor into just a simple formula, right? So we were a little bit off as far as hitting 98,000 by a certain price point, but let's say we hit it in the next 2 weeks just by chance, right? It's 1 month off. Is he really that off? People are going to completely switch from one side to the other. So I think, Matt, you're completely right that this is going to be different. The 4-year cycles and that are going to completely be changed by the scene of utility and use. And I think the thing that changes at this time that we didn't have before is NFTs in the metaverse. Purely because what you can do now, if there was a bear market, is you can do stuff here, and then if you can always do stuff here, it can almost perpetually make the other one keep going, because you got to get into the metaverse somehow. Thus, you have to buy more of the said crypto. So in a sense, like, we would have shorter bear markets, shorter bull markets, but in the end, we would have extended cycle that everybody keeps talking about.
So
yeah,
that
like
was
you said,
I totally
it's
agree.
more mature, the market.
I'm going to pause you there for just 1 second. I got a special friend here that just wants to say hello.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here.
What up, Jebb? What's going on?
What's up?
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Crypto Jebb in the house.
Good.
Yeah. Kelly's staying with me. He's down in town. He's in the studio with us.
Oh, that guy. Is he being a bum again?
No, he's being a good friend. Keep me company.
Yeah, Kelly's awesome.
Yeah, Kelly is awesome.
We got Matt C in the house.
Oh, let's go, Matt.
A couple other people from the channel.
Let's go, Jebb.
Awesome. What's up, guys?
I'm doing good. Are you cooking dinner for everybody tonight?
Oh no. Well, I mean, we just had our annual planning meeting for next year, myself and the executive team. So we all had I had some fried green tomatoes. So I bought them dinner on the company card.
Oh wait, did you go to Harry's?
Yeah, went to Harry's. No, Harry's, dude. Harry's slaps. It's so good.
So
Yeah, Jebb, I'm the same way. I'm getting those last minute company expenses on the books, right?
Yeah, for real. Get some more write-offs, huh?
So we'll throw that question just for a 2-sentence or 3-sentence answer from Jebb, and we'll let him get back to it. Matt C asked, what do you think about the potential of the lengthening cycle happening more or less likely, and also is the halving going to have less of an effect as the market gets more mature?
No, absolutely. I think the halving will have less and less of an effect as the market gets more mature, just because the amount of Bitcoin being, was it 12.5 Bitcoin a block right now? I think that's where we're at. No, it's 6.25. We're at 6.25. So next is going to be 3.125. So the decrease is getting cut in half. The halving's halving, of course, but the ratio is staying the same. So that it's decreasing by half each time. So I don't think the halving is going to be as important 20 years from now as it was in 2012 or as it was in 2016 or 2020. And also, I think that will have to do with the lengthening cycle. But I think the lengthening cycle is more going to happen because of the maturity of the market, not just the halving events. I think the first 3 halvings, the only real thing that we had tokenomic-wise, as far as Bitcoin, to really guide a 4-year cycle was the halving. But now we have a much more broad, much more developed market that is much more robust because of all the different parts of crypto. I've said many times that cryptocurrency is a sector nowadays, whereas 2-3 years ago as an industry, it's a sector because it's made up of a bunch of different industries. You have cryptocurrencies, you have crypto protocols like Ethereum, AVAX, Cardano, Solana, all these layer 1 protocols that things are built on. You have NFTs, you have blockchain gaming, you have metaverse, you have all these different industries that are emerging, and I think most of them are going to end up being trillion-dollar markets. And each one of those is going to provide somewhere for people to go when they get bored of the other one. And I think that's going to make bear markets less severe, and it is going to lengthen the cycles.
And the last part of that question was, do you think, I'm sure this cycle will have it, but what do you think the trajectory will be on the tops of the next 2 or 3 bull markets in terms of parabolic blow off tops? Do you think that's going to get more and more towards like traditional markets where we start getting more regular rounding tops? Or what do you think?
I think the total market capitalization will start to flatten out, similarly to how the S&P 500 is an index of 500 companies. Those companies have blow off tops, but the index is relatively similar because it is so diversified across so many different markets that it is pretty consistent. So I think the growth in the total market capitalization chart is going to smoothen out, but the blow off tops are still going to happen in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and especially as you go down the market capitalization, that's going to happen. But also, I do think Bitcoin is going to see less and less volatility as time goes on. I think the next 2 all-time highs are going to be 6 figures, maybe the next 3, and then the one after that will probably be 7 figures.
Right, and then the blow-off tops, it's not going to be a blow-off top with minus 90%. It'll be blow-off top this time, probably somewhere, who knows, but somewhere, I'd probably say more than 50, but less than 85, somewhere in the 70.
I'd say 60 to 70 is the next.
70.
The bear market.
The following blow-off top will probably be in the 50s, and the next one will probably, and then we'll just get we'll have larger market corrections that are 30%, and but stuff's looking good.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I agree.
Well, thank you, Jebb. I'll let you get back to what you're doing.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, and we're
Great to hear from you, Jebb. Thank you.
Good to talk to y'all. Let me know if you guys would like me to start doing spaces also. I'd love to do one with Kelly at some point. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Yeah. There we got our guest appearance from the Crypto Jebb and him.
There's the celebrity appearance, guys. Next time we're charging cover.
And one thing I wanted to say, following what he mentioned about Bitcoin being a sector, how many of you guys have ever used Kleenex? I'm sure everybody. And I would argue that 99% of you, when you've used Kleenex, you probably didn't use Kleenex. You used some other form of tissue, but it got so branded. The brand was such a strong thing with Kleenex that we call all tissue Kleenex. And Bitcoin is such a strong, groundbreaking asset that I've heard innumerable people say, yeah, man, I got in the Bitcoin game. I got Shiba Inu. Or I got in the Bitcoin game, I have Ethereum. I was like, well, those are actually 2 entirely different things. Did you get in the Ethereum game? But people classify crypto in general as Bitcoin, and then they decide what Bitcoin they have. It's like in the South, if you order a Coke from a restaurant, they say, okay, what kind? And you're like, what? They're like, yeah, what kind of Coke? Do you want Sprite or Dr. Pepper? It's like, no, Coke is one drink. It's not all soda.
Well,
so it's
Kelly, you better believe that I have a laugh when I say Coke because of my Northern English accent. They think I'm saying a different word.
Coke. I want some Coke.
Coke.
Get some Coke.
I want some Coke on the rocks. Yeah. What part of England do you in, Crypto RL?
I'm from Yorkshire, if you know where that is. It's not too far from Manchester.
Yeah, it's in Europe.
Yeah, I've had your pudding.
Yeah.
Get your pudding. And
Hey,
a
man,
nice cup of tea as well.
It's about whiskey. It's about whiskey o'clock. So you're gonna have to cut me some slack. But yeah, no, that was a great question, Matt C. And yeah, I mean, we can just take this wherever anybody wants to take it, man. Anybody can ask a question. Keep the
I appreciate that. I'm going to say one more little thing, though. The institutional money, and I think you guys will all agree on this, the more they get into it, and like I think you said a couple days ago, and I remember reading the article where there's been more VC money in the crypto space this year than the last 10 years combined. And as they continue to pour that money in, the one thing they don't like is instability, and they don't like surprises. So I think it's going to be one of those things where they'll try to, when they're pouring in trillions of dollars and there's pension funds involved, letting markets drop 80% is not in their best interest, because you can't have pension funds having their assets drop 80%. That's a big problem for them. So I just see that the more institutional money comes in, the more likely we're going to see, like you said, Kelly, maybe more rounded tops and a lot less of those dramatic dives of 70, 80%.
Well, no, I completely agree. And I think whether or not it's them preventing 80% drops, or I think what would be more likely than happen rather than the prevention of it. I think the nature of having institutional or big money that's involved, it's going to be a lot like Michael Saylor, in the sense that when you have people putting hundreds of millions or billions of dollars or whatever it is, huge chunks of their investment assets under management, and into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, what happens is they're buying in because they see it as an incredible investment. People don't not
Store
people
value.
do, but the large majority of people that are investing, or institutions that are investing, 100 million plus dollars, they're not doing it to swing trade. They're doing it as at least mid long term to long term investment strategies. And so what happens is, if they get a price point and the price falls below that, they don't see that as a huge dip. They say, oh, this is a great opportunity to strengthen my position, and they put more assets in. So I think a lot of this institutional money will anchor the market from falling further than it would have without the institutional money. Do they manipulate it? Yes, absolutely. But we spoke about that today on Crypto Jebb's show, where this morning on Coffee and Crypto, where that what we need to realize is, every time you or I or any person even your grandma, your aunt, you even buy 0.01 Bitcoin, by nature of buying or selling, you are manipulating the market. Any participation in the market is a manipulation of that market. The difference is, with this big money, when they do, buy or sell, it does move the market. And what do anybody that buy or sell, or anybody that get into any sort of investment asset class, what do you want to do? You want to make money. So can you blame somebody with $100 million, knowing that they can kind of, if they suppress the price a little bit, they can trigger some sort of short squeeze or long squeeze? And then at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to have good risk management. And if we put ourselves in a position where we give our money over to somebody else, Warren Buffett says it best. I'm going to have to paraphrase here. I don't know the exact quote, but money goes into, from the weak hands to the strong hands, from the impatient to the patient.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And
all right, fellas. Well, listen, thank you so
sorry.
much. I'm going to mute myself and listen from here on out. Merry Christmas to all of you. And again, appreciate everything you do.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on.
Great question.
I was gonna maybe mention there the fact that a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people know that not only we want to make money and it's people making money against people losing money in the market, it's also the market makers there. They've got to make their money as well as the exchanges. So it's a constant routine, and I think because of market makers, that's why we do get such strange cycles. And until, in my own opinion, I think until regulation does come into the market, we probably will still have them big drops, because the market makers have got to get all that money back. That there's a lot of liquidity to get, in my opinion, still from the market
Oh,
makers.
for sure.
And I think regulations will probably mark the bottom of the next bear market. To panic everyone, make everyone fearful, while all the big money buys again. Regulations are coming in, make everybody scared, and hopefully we'll be the ones buying the bottom there. But that's just a bit of speculation. But yeah.
No,
No,
totally. But the thing is, it's like everything in life, there's always a bit of a double-edged sword with it. And one of the things that people that are, really, really believe in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, one of the things that people have been wanting, of course, we want to keep it decentralized, but we also want mass adoption. And for mass adoption to happen, you have to have a legitimization of the asset class as well. And for it to be legitimized means you're also going to have new market participants. And to have new market participants, that means you're also going to have big money, institutional money coming in, which at the end of the day, all these things are going to drive the price up further and further and closer to the moon, and one day past the moon. Maybe one day we'll get to Mars like Elon Musk wants, but maybe we'll just do it on our Ledger Nanos instead. And in order to do that, you have to welcome, or at least be aware that it will have a dynamic shift in terms of how the market, like you said, it's sort of weird sort of structures in the market, or like even when you look, even if somebody is just a specific pattern trader, one of the things I notice in Bitcoin over a lot of other asset classes, especially this cycle where we have a lot of institutional big money in it, is that if you're trading specifically exactly on pattern trading, then you'll see a pattern, whether it be a descending triangle or a descending wedge or head and shoulder, whatever. It doesn't matter what the pattern is. And I would say somewhere about over 60 to 70% of the time, there it's like you don't trade the breakout. You wait for the fake out and then trade the breakout, because it always seems to, it's like they're so aware that everybody's trading on the pattern. So they trick you that it's going to go that way. They go the opposite way, and then it goes the way that you were intending to the whole time. And if you're too jumpy on the gun to just purchase because you just broke a resistance, then that it's a little too early, because you have to wait for it to break the resistance, retrace back, and then break the resistance. And that's the smart hand that plays that. And it's a little bizarre. I know, Crypto Vet, you do a bit of other trading as well on traditional markets, don't you? What would you say about that in terms of what you've seen in that correlation?
Yeah. The main thing I would say is I kind of agree with like I said, what Matt was saying earlier. The more and more big money that comes in here is going to reduce the fluctuations and swings. And as of now, since it is a new asset class, it's only going to be brought in smaller batches anyway, right? When you think of these huge companies that have any type of crypto exposure, they are either in mining, in some sort of virtual reality, some sort of 3D modeling, something that can apply stuff to the metaverse and all of that. So if it's still trying to trade in the traditional markets, I've been sticking to those recommendations. Now, personally, those holdings are very small as far as my overall holdings, but I like to dabble in them a little bit just for the clients I have that still do like a lot of the traditional stocks and don't want to go into crypto yet. It's kind of my way of introducing them into a very specific technical field that focuses on stuff that's specifically in the cryptocurrency world, NFTs, metaverse. But other than that, I've stayed out of traditional markets because I think they're in a bubble of overexpanded from stimulus and made up numbers. So it's really hard for me to invest in that. Crypto to me is the hedge against that. If the US dollar and everything were all to go to crap, I really think that the whole thing would just start over on either Bitcoin or some sort of crypto, right? Blockchain technology being the king of it all. So, I guess I'm really looking forward to what happens here in the future. This cycle is going to be completely different than the last two. Analysts, from me to whoever you pick, we're always wrong in what we say is going to happen because we rely too much on what happened in the past, and it's always close but never exactly the same.
Oh no, I mean, absolutely. I agree entirely. And I don't know why my mind went here. This is just, how sometimes when you're listening or you see something in your line of sight, your mind will just come up within a split second of a whole funny scenario or a sort of like mental movie of something that's, that's relevant to what was spoken about. You were just talking about the metaverse and NFTs. And I thought it would be quite funny because you also mentioned mining. I thought it would be quite funny if there was if you're cruising around Decentraland or MetaHero, wherever it is, it doesn't matter. And somebody has like a plot of land, and on that plot of
Literally mining
yeah, they
Ethereum,
set up
little
they set up
pickaxe.
yeah, they set up a mining thing, and you have to go in there, and you're in there just slaving away for weeks on end, and then all of a sudden you mine like little bits of Bitcoin, like that'd be pretty interesting.
If it's anything like Arlington, after you mine the Bitcoin, somebody'd run up behind you and steal it.
Yeah,
So I don't know if I want to go to that
Theft
metaverse.
Bitcoin, Grand Theft Bitcoin. Yeah, that'd be good. But no, I totally agree with you, Crypto Vet, and I think a lot of people I fall victim to it as well. But you have to look in the past to get some sort of understanding of what the most likely potentialities of what could happen. And then at the same time, it's like we talked about earlier about no matter what you do with technical analysis is only gaining insight through mathematical equations. And the job with technical analysis is to take that data, but then relate it to the underlying fundamentals, which aren't in technical analysis. That's more fundamental analysis. And then also cross-reference that with the contextual basis of what's going on in the entire crypto market at large, what's going on the calendar, what's going on geopolitical stage, what's going on, all these things come together. And each analyst, no matter, even if they studied every day of their life for 100 years together, would still gain different insights of the market, because you're going to have slightly different focuses on what you're looking at. That's why it's super important. Even if you're a super introvert, it's super important, even if you do it online, to have discussions with other analysts or with other people and get varied viewpoints. And if you watch, our Crypto Jebb channel, we love that and we appreciate you. But I would also say have conversations with other friends. And if you have another analyst you also like to look, just to get a little bit of a confirmation on different ideas or thoughts or targets. I remember for years I was watching not only Crypto Jebb, but I was also watching Crypto Kirby, who's always like I'll be seeing like the most beautiful bullish setup ever, and the 3 seconds into his video is like dun dun dun, this is about to fail and this is why. And it's like, okay, and I used to hate it, but in reality I loved it, because it gave me a balanced look to realize, okay, I'm betting my own personal money on this going up. Okay, well, let's take a pause here. Let me speculate on if you're seeing an upside, before you make a bet, pretend like basically be your own devil's advocate. Try to plan out what the absolute bearish scenario would be when you're about to do a bullish purchase, so you can prepare and you put stop losses in the right way, or what your exit is going to be if it doesn't go the direction you want. Because if you're only looking at the bearish trajectory, you're going to be caught blindsided with it going the opposite direction, and vice versa. So it's really good to, as a technical analyst and as a trader, even as an investor, even if you're only DCAing. I mean, who cares if you're not trading? If you're DCAing, don't you want to get the best entry prices? So you want to invest today, fine. Maybe this isn't a good price point. I'm not saying don't put that money aside so you can invest it, but if today's not the best price point to enter, have a small little, whether it be a USDC or stablecoin account, or maybe it's just a savings account in your bank account, where you always put money, no matter what, or however you want to do it, into that account. And you're having a pool of money that's there, because maybe not every first of the month is the right idea. If you want to be a little more strategic, you can give yourself a window of 3 or 4 days, and rather than doing it on the first of every month, maybe this month it's on the third, because it's in the bottom of a dip right now, or next month it's on the 29th of the month, because it's very, all these things will mean sometimes fractions of a percent, sometimes 2 or 3%, sometimes 5%. But in 5 years, the difference is going to be every $100 or $1,000 that changes is going to be $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 in 5 years. So it is good to take those things into consideration. Crickets.
Kelly,
I'm
I was
pressing the button. It didn't work.
Sorry, Vet. I was going to mention a little bit of a path that I took when I started about a year and a half ago. I decided, I was going to have a bit of a hold bag, about 20% that I was just going to hold forever. I'm never going to touch it, leave it forever. I decided I was going to have about 40% to just try and set my targets, what I'm going to sell in this bull run, no matter what. if them targets get hit, you know, I'll sell. And then the other 40%, I will literally swing trade. And then you've got all three beneficiaries there of being in the market, getting out at good times. Maybe you're selling to a pump and it continues, you know, it happens, but you've took profits and you've still got your position in the market. So it's a win-win-win no matter what. And when the bear market arrives, which I think it will, some people don't think it will, but I think it will definitely. I think you'll get that 80% chance, and you'll get the media calling it all a scam, and you know that's when we'll all be getting back in the market. And that's the path I've taken, and it's just a simple path, simple percentages, win-win-win, and you can't really go wrong, in my opinion, with a strategy like that. So you know, you've got to find what works for you. And if you're doing your fundamental research before investing, then you're going to have confidence in your own investments and hopefully not get shaken out too much by what you see on Twitter or YouTube. But yeah, I'd say you've got to definitely make your own plan. And that's my Xbox pad falling off my side there.
Oh no, totally agree. Yeah, and thank you so much for participating in the conversation. And I do want to extend for anybody that maybe you just tuned in or not. And I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. We still got a little bit of time. We're going to be jamming on here. But if anybody's got any questions or thoughts, on the very bottom left corner of the screen where it says request, you can request to speak and we can bring you up. I see we got another requested right here. So we're going to bring them up right now. There you go. Crypto, what does it say? Crypto Brad. Hop on in here. Say, ask us whatever you want, or add any thoughts or questions or whatever you need. Crypto Brad. There you go.
Hey, I appreciate you letting me speak. I just got one real simple, pretty simple question. You know, I'm all about safe investments. I love ETH, love Solana. Solana's kind of, you know, about my third biggest bag, but ETH and Bitcoin, my two biggest bags. Where I'm going with this is ETH has already seen so much growth over the past year. Where do you see ETH going? You know, I'm talking, you know, short to long term. You know, let's just say, let's put a time on it. Q1, Q2 of 22. Where do you see ETH going?
I would speculate on it, and this is dependent on what happens with everything happening geopolitically right now. You know, potential shutdowns that could happen. This regardless, but if we just kind of continue coasting a bit as we are in the markets, continue to inch up as we're expecting. We're going into the last sort of anywhere from 2 to 4 more months of the last leg of the bull market. I could see ETH honestly going somewhere between, I would say on the low side 10K, on the high side somewhere around 22K, and that's a pretty big window. But I think that's very much the window is more relevant to the very questionable circumstances we have with world governments right now and the Omicron and all this everything. But yeah, so right in the middle, I'd say, I mean, I could see 16K without even being worried that that's a, I don't even feel like that's a moon boy statement. I feel like that's conservative.
You think?
Go ahead.
You think we're going to see 16K on Ethereum in 5 months?
I think we can definitely get there. Yeah.
Dang, I'm going to be sitting pretty. I have a lot of Ethereum.
I was more 6 to 8.
I was going to say 6 to 8. Dang.
But that's specifically going from, again, this was the hypothesis I've been charting all day, specifically going around a top around May with the Joe Biden extending the school, student loan repayment, taxes, all the things adding up. Yeah, still all of my prices still about the same, and it ends 6 to 8-ish. I would love to see more, but, you know, until we break all-time high at around, you know, was it 4,800? You know, to me, it's, you know, we're still looking kind of bearish on all markets until Bitcoin gets some volume and pushes above 52, and then the next resistance, and then the next resistance.
Kelly, what do you think Bitcoin would look like if we were to go to $16,000 on Ethereum?
Well, let me clarify a little bit of what I'm saying. When I say 16K, this is what I'm talking about. If we're leaning into somewhat of an extended cycle and we are going into, I would say, you know, like into April, that sort of thing. If we top out in February, or early March, I would think that would truncate it greatly. And I would definitely say, somewhere from 7 to 9K, maybe actually a little less than that if it was February. But every month past February, I think basically, obviously, also based on the parabolic nature of how the end of the bull cycle happens. If the top of the parabola is in February, yeah, we're going to be 8K. If it's going to be end of March, it's going to be 12K. And if it's going to be end of April into May, then yeah, pushing up into the teens. But Bitcoin, I think, and I predicted this back in January of 2021, before we even had the major market dip. I predicted that the top would be in this cycle probably around 235K. And while part of me wants to stick with that, my more realistic look at all the charts and how everything's going, I think that it's more likely that we're going to go somewhere on the low side, low side, conservative 130. But I suspect we're going to get a surprise that comes in, and we're going to get some wild swings, once we hit 85, 90K, and then after that dip, we're going to go, past 100 up to 120. I think we're going to get a bit of a dip there also because a lot of BitBoy speculation that 120 was the top. But I think there's going to be an unstopping force of, retail investment and people coming in, and some institutional investment coming in as well, that I do think that, a 150 would be a kind of a safe bet. But I would expect somewhere between 150 and 180, and I'd just be like dancing with joy if it actually hit the 235. But yeah, I would say 150 to 180.
The reason I'm asking is because if you did see, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was just going to ask Kelly so on that timeline, isn't ETH 2.0 kind of set to be released March or April? And how would that, because I mean, wouldn't that unlock a lot of ETH at that point, or do I have that wrong?
Well, yes, when that goes live, it's going to unlock a lot of ETH, and I think depending on what's going on in the market will determine whether or not we're going to get a lot of unloading. But if the market is in a strong parabola, first off, the people that are investing in ETH 2.0 that have locked it up, I would say maybe not the large majority, but definitely the majority are people that are pretty avid crypto people. So if we're in a parabolic upswing, they're not going to sell just because it got unlocked. I think we could get some selling pressure, but if we had just had some sort of like top or another bizarre rounding top sort of scenario, or if we're coming up, the price action is very strong, actually still going up, but we're having like an inordinate amount of bearish RSI divergences on Bitcoin and on Ethereum, leading up to them being unlocked. I think to me, it's all going to be about market structure and what's going on with the context of the entire market as a whole that's going to determine. I don't think just because it's unlocked, people are going to unload. I think like anything, people are going to unload or sell or trade out if the market structure says it's time to get out. So I think that's going to be a very speculative thing. But as Crypto Vet said, as if Ethereum's kind of, I think I could expect that they would probably be somewhat behind on the actual execution of the full transition. Yeah.
The reason I was wondering. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The reason I was wondering is because if Ethereum was to go to $16,000, that'd be a $2 trillion market capitalization. And that's why I asked about Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin were to double from where it is right now to say $100,000, then it's at a $2 trillion market cap. So if Ethereum goes to 16K, do you see a flippening happening with Ethereum either approaching the same market dominance as Bitcoin or even passing it?
I don't think we're going to get a flippening in the cycle. No, but if Ethereum, I would expect if Ethereum goes to 16K, the entire crypto market would be in a very exuberantly strong state. And I think that Bitcoin, if Bitcoin went to 170 is what is
$3.5 trillion, something like that.
It's that's a three and a half. Yeah. So Bitcoin would still be above in market cap of Ethereum.
Right. I see what you mean.
I mean, Kelly, what you were saying is 100% possible. And, I think a couple weeks ago we were talking about the ETH to BTC chart. And, if we had a breakout, we would end up seeing 0.1 BTC for an ETH value. And they're like, well, if we think Ethereum or Bitcoin is going to be 100 and let's say 75,000. That's a $17,500 Ethereum,
That's
which puts
crazy.
the market cap absolutely crazy. And this puts
I
out
wouldn't mind that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I've got a bunch of heat.
Yeah, and this is how we get
I
the
concur.
possibility of $20 to $30 trillion market cap overall this cycle. And this is because we're going to have, if we did see these crazy numbers go all the way up, we're going to have Ethereum at trillions by itself. So it's very possible getting other asset classes like, say, real estate and all these other derivative markets onto cryptocurrency. And the metaverse, as JP Morgan just said, that they valued the metaverse at $8 trillion. And I think you brought this up on crypto. I've heard it everywhere today. So, that's a lot of money, and we are barely tapping into that as it is. So, crypto is here to stay. And, it's not that you were wrong, Kelly. It's just I think the time frame's a little soon. But then again, I've been switching more to the bear side because I'm a more conservative, old school guy. But then again, I'm hedged worst case scenarios. So, it's really hard to give advice now when most people are jumping in head first. And, I'm sitting on a shit ton of fiat right now.
Well, I will say, look, it's like as an analyst, when I'm looking at charts, I'm looking at the possibility of where things can go. But if I had to if the way I would trade in terms of similar to what you just said, like with there's like hopium and possibility, the data side of the analyst, and then also what you think, like what you're going to trade towards, So although I see those things as possibilities, I think that if I had to place a bet with my money right now, whether it be in my trades and setting stop losses or whatever it is, or take profits, I would say, and I've been planning this for a few months. Once Bitcoin, depending on divergences and all that, once we get north of 100K, I'm gonna have an absolute hawkeye on several different indicators, from the Bollinger Bands to some stochastic RSIs to the RSIs in general, market side. I'm going to be looking at everything because I do not want to get caught with my pants down.
You indicator whore.
Yeah, but I'm going to start looking to start DCAing out of my, laddering my exits, hopefully above 120. But, once we hit at 120, I'm going to take a good portion of my portfolio out. And then I'm going to ladder out up to probably about almost 70% of my portfolio between 120 and 150. And if it goes from 150 to 180 or 190, I'm not going to worry that I lost that, because I know there's going to be at least a 40% or a 50% correction, at which point then I'll ladder back in, but I'm also not going to ladder back in waiting on 80% to get the best, because I don't think we're going to get 80% drop. So once we pass 50, I'm going to be looking at all the indicators to start laddering in at a minus 50 to a minus 60 area. And I don't mind if it goes another 20% down, because I've already almost increased my portfolio by like 40% just on that swing, So that's sort of my sort of plan here. So yeah, and with Ethereum, same thing. I would say conservatively, my money would be betting. I'd be looking once we hit 7-8 grand. I'm going to look at starting to take my money out slowly, and I'll always leave a portion in there. And if it goes up to 16, I will pull all of it out once it hits 16, because there will be a decent correction coming off of 16K Ethereum. You can bet your bottom dollar on that,
Yeah. And you don't ever have to worry about hitting the exact tops or the exact bottoms. You just want to make sure you're taking big chunks out of the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, Kelly, I was going to mention there's one main indicator that you're not going to get on any technical analysis that I'll be looking for, and it's what's going on in the mainstream media. Because if like we said earlier, we're in wave 4 now and we're looking at getting into a wave 5, look at what happened at the top of wave 3 at around 60 to 70k Bitcoin. The top was marked by bullish news of Coinbase IPOing. And that was the big news on that day. That was the major hype. Everyone was bullish. Great news. Best you can get. And then, the wave 4 begins. I think at the top of wave 5, we're going to get a very similar thing. So I'll be looking out for what is that main bit of news? What is it? Is it going to be... I can't predict it. I can't speculate. But I know there's going to be one big major bit of news at the top of wave 5 that marks the top, that gets retail in and gets the big money out. And it's I don't know what bit of news it's going to be, but I'd imagine it's going to be big major news.
No, absolutely. It's similar to Jebb. You'll have to correct me on this, but back in 2017, 2018, when what was it? When Backed was released, everybody was
Back
so
was released
hyped
in
about.
August of 2018.
Yeah.
I
Everybody was
think.
so
Wasn't it?
hyped, and then
Someone correct me on that.
the market just dropped right out as
It was
soon
right
as
after it. Yeah, the next day. Yeah, it was. No, it was August because Bitcoin had just rallied up to like $8,500. There was an inverse head and shoulders pattern the month before, and then it released, and then it dropped like 10% the next day. It was a buy the rip or sell the news kind of thing, I think.
Those were the days.
But it also depends on what kind of major news story it is, because I can guarantee you, if we're getting positive news, not just opinion news, not positive news on CNBC, so that's different. When you have super positive bull stories on the mainstream media, that's one thing. But when you have really positive fundamental news, like if all of a sudden, let's say in February or March, we think the market's about to end, and we find out that Amazon is, they have done like a $2 billion investment or a $10 billion investment. And then then you hear Walmart, all these things. I don't think that would be a sell the news event.
No, great.
That would be a continuation. Yeah. But I'm going to pull in. I see we got 2 more requests. I'm going to pull up. Was this Eye of the Beholder?
Great talk, though. Great talk.
Yeah, great talk. So, Eye of the Beholder, I am adding you as a speaker, so you can come on up and share your thoughts with us, my brother.
So
I think we forgot about Crypto Brad. Did Crypto Brad ever go?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I already went.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, looking at the ETH BTC chart, honestly, if it breaks up, we already know that ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin. That's a given. But if it breaks up, I think that 10 to 15K is conservative. I agree with you, Kelly. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Looking at it on the weekly chart, like it's formed a massive cup and handle. And even though the cup and handle pattern is pretty unreliable, I still think that it's going to outperform. It like conservatively, we're looking at 10 to 15% of a Bitcoin from that cup and handle pattern on the weekly. So if Bitcoin hits $100,000, and we know the ETH is already going to outperform Bitcoin, then we're looking at 10 to 15K, in my opinion.
I completely agree on, like, with Kelly, you and everything. It just all comes down to the timeline. So, one of the other things I looked at today is if we take a look at Bitcoin dominance, we're potentially forming a descending triangle after we already broke down out of a head and shoulders pattern fully. So this descending triangle is going to be in the middle, or a distribution pattern of some sort. And, this is going to put Bitcoin's dominance much, much lower to a new low in the low 30s if this was to break to the downside. Again, this could be a huge time for things like Ethereum and others in the top 10 to really take away some of this dominance from Bitcoin. And during that time, we could have a huge rally here. So, if Bitcoin doesn't do what it's supposed to now, stays right around, what are we at, 51,350, and we do drop, but the price actually doesn't drop that much. We just take off on the alts. We can see that drop in Bitcoin's dominance. We get to 0.1 BTC to ETH, and it's actually only $5,000 ETH, which doesn't look that good on the paper because, in US dollar to BTC all translating over. So it really just comes down to timing. And I think ETH 2.0 and the fees, I'm so tired of just getting raped by these fees. It literally pisses me off every time I use Ethereum now. If I meet Vitalik, I don't know if I'm going to be nice anymore.
Oh, I just got our guy Mojo Moby, Rick. He just released the secret NFTs. If any of you guys are interested in NFTs, he's got this project called Mojo Heads, and they just did this short run for I think 7 days of these things called Secret Mojo, and there's 5,000 NFTs you can buy, and you don't know what it is. So it's I think it's 0.05 ETH. And the reason I bring it up is because I remember the other 2 days ago I bought one, and it's 0.05 ETH, which was right around $200. And the gas, I had to wait because the gas at one point was like $85, which is almost 50% of the cost of the dang thing I was going to get. But it's really cool because then there'll be, I ended up waiting and I only paid about $25 in gas, but super looking forward to those to be revealed because he's got some super valuable NFTs, some different utility things, some all kind of different stuff. So it's really, really interesting project he's doing. But I got a question for Mr. Crypto Jebb here.
What's up?
Thankful you're in one room of the house, I'm on the other side, but
yep.
happy we're also together in the metaverse here, and thank you. It's been a pleasure being a part of the Crypto Jebb team, and I just want to say thanks for bringing me on.
Pleasure having you, Kelly. We couldn't do it without you, man.
Oh, thank you, brother. But and I mean it, man. And I want to know, you do this show every day, Crypto Jebb, Coffee and Crypto over on YouTube, and is there anything that because we have so much we have 6 weeks worth of information crammed into every hour and a half show that we do every morning.
For real.
So without feeling like a time constraint, is there, or just in general overall, is there anything in regards to the crypto market or trading or just anything at all, mental health or, in regards to crypto or anything at all that you just feel like you don't really get to dive into, that you'd love to either just share a word or a thought on, or even pose a question?
Well, the reason I really like making those Sunday videos, Kelly, is because I have 2 jobs at the company. I'm the talent and I'm the analyst. So I'm the guy on camera making the content, but I'm also the CEO. And so I just got home from a 5-hour annual planning meeting for the next year with our 3 C-suite executives, because we got a lot of stuff being built for the new year that's coming out for the Crypto Jebb, the Jebb Nights and everything. So one of the things that I really enjoy talking about is, leadership and business and, how to run a business, the mindset that goes into it, entrepreneurship. And I don't really get to talk about a lot of that a whole lot. And what I've found is that the Sunday videos I do, which the audience has started calling them Sunday sermons, which I actually really like because that's kind of what they are. I have a video coming out tomorrow that I recorded earlier today talking about just patience, because I think a lot of people in cryptocurrency just don't have the patience. And something I'd love to encourage everybody to realize is that, I actually we had our meeting, and forgive me, my brain is fried right now. I'm not talking as coherently as I normally do. We had our meeting at a boardroom at a hotel here in town, and I walked in, and the bellboy, I guess is the name, whoever like greets you at the door of this hotel, the dude walked out and he just looked at me and went, "Crypto Jebb," and his name's Jordan Diaz, and I took a picture with him and posted on Twitter, and I talked to him quite a bit for like 20 minutes because I was early, and I told him that because he's just getting started in crypto. He told me that he wants to buy a Jeep Gladiator. He told me that he just got one Ethereum. He was telling me about his whole strategy and everything. It was really encouraging to, meet some of our audience in person. I always love when that happens. And I told him, what you need to do is you need to realize that making money in cryptocurrency is a formula. Most people think it's a luck thing, and it's not. It's a formula. The formula is invest time, invest in education, invest in your identity, and then finally invest in cryptocurrency. You got to put those things first. And if you invest in your identity, what is my identity? I find my identity in the Lord. I find my identity in Bitcoin. I find my trading identity in Bitcoin, Ethereum. My identity is that I mainly focus on large cap altcoins. That's like my identity. So I invested in my identity. I invested in the amount of time I put in. I put thousands and thousands of hours into learning crypto, and Kelly did too. When I interviewed him, a month ago on the channel, he said like, yeah, I studied 6 days a week, 16 hours a day. And that adds up quick. That's 84 hours a week. You multiply that over a year, that's 2,000-3,000 hours in a year. Kelly and I both have put 5,000 to 10,000 hours into studying our craft over the last 4 to 5 years. And so just invest in time, invest in your identity. And most importantly, just realize that making the kind of money that you want in cryptocurrency is actually a lot more attainable than I think most people realize. If I had to talk to myself from 5 years ago and told him where I would be today, he wouldn't have believed it. He would have said, "Oh, that's nice. That'd be really cool. But I don't know how to do that. I can't feasibly understand that." That's almost like, you take your dog to the vet and the dog going to the vet, it's going to be a really good thing for the dog, but the dog just doesn't understand it. It can't possibly understand how getting this needle shoved in his butt is going to make it feel better because it hurts right now. And I would just, what's that?
Veterinarians are stupid.
But I mean, the point, yeah. Well, crypto vet, yeah. But the point I'm making is that it's so hard for us to realize that the pain we might go through now of like saying, oh, I want to have $1.75 million in crypto, or the pain of, having to sit down and do a 16-hour day every once in a while and watch trades and stay up all night, the pain of doing that, of having to wait. I think a lot of people don't realize that that's actually the thing that is going to bring you the return. So I would just really encourage people to understand that it's investing in crypto is like the top of the pyramid. There's so much you have to invest in below, in your mindset and in your identity and in your systems and your processes and your habits and your mind and your the way you live your life, your streams of income, whether that is through trading or through something else. And then also just remember that it's a formula and it is a proven process. There is a formulaic way for you to make $1 million in cryptocurrency. There is no question whatsoever, unless there's some kind of genetic physical issue that makes it impossible for you to work online in cryptocurrency. There is no reason that you guys cannot be successful in crypto. It's a proven fact that you can be. That's what I would say.
Oh, absolutely. And to kind of expand on that, this thought, this idea, or this sort of concept of pain is so interesting, because a lot of times, and I'm not calling anybody on this channel out, I'm calling myself out specifically because I see myself, I can only consider and see and forecast the pain in others based on the pain that I've experienced.
Right.
Or have or expect that I will experience. And like you said, in one aspect, for instance, whether you want to be a singer, a football player, a cryptocurrency trader, the best barista in the world, it doesn't matter what it is, ultimate taco champion, it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever it is that you really want to do, if you sacrifice if you sacrifice your time to focus on that thing, it will be uncomfortable, and some of your relationships might suffer temporarily, or you might not have as much time to watch every TV show under the sun, or you might not have as much time just to relax. However, what happens is that pain that you're feeling that's in a compressed time period while you're putting the work in alleviates decades worth of pain and regret and struggle financially and all that sort of stuff. So you can compress it now and just do the work and have that pain removed from decades, although it's small each day, actually adds up to be
you'll feel better in the long run.
Well,
the struggle that you have to put in, the discomfort that you have to do it. So that was the one thing. There's another thing I wanted to mention. I can't remember what it is. So
the thing you have to realize is that does anybody Kelly, Tim Grover, does that name ring a bell? I think he was the coach of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. He wrote a book called Winner, and in the book, he talks about one time where he was leaving home to go and train. It was either Kobe or Michael. He was training one of them. He trained the GOATs in NBA, and he and his daughter, who's like 5 years old or 3-4 years old at the time, asked him, "Daddy, why do you travel so much?" That's a hard thing. I'm not a father, but I'm sure that's a very hard thing for a father to hear. Like, "Daddy, why do you travel so much?" That's implying, "Daddy, I miss you and I want you to be here." And he said, "Well, honey, I have to go and travel so I can put food on the table." And his daughter responded, "Daddy, if I eat less, will you stay home more?"
Wow.
And in that moment, he had to ask himself the question, how much do I really want to put into this? And he felt bad, but he went. And the thing that he talked about in his book and in his interview with Patrick Bet-David was every single person has to come to terms with themselves what they are willing to do to win. And I can say, "Kelly, you shouldn't do this to win," or "Crypto Vet, you shouldn't do this to win." But at the end of the day, that's not my call. I have my own moral judgments. I have my own logical judgments, but we have to figure that out with each other. Are you willing to be away from home 200 days a week, 200 days a year to train the GOATs in NBA so you can go win, so you can go win? Are you willing to put in 8 hours a day on top of your 9-to-5 job to study crypto so that you're able to be successful? You got to figure out. And this is a really hard thing to learn. What are you willing to sacrifice to become successful? And Tim Grover said, "You know what? I'm willing to sacrifice time with my own daughter to set an example for her so that when she grows up, she'll say, my dad worked, and I have an example to follow, and he realized what it was all about, and he figured out what he was willing to sacrifice and what he wasn't.
Get
No,
dunked on, little girl.
yeah, absolutely. And there's what I just remember what I wanted to point out when you're talking about trading and money and winning trades and all that sort of thing. And one of the pitfalls I see when I talk to a lot of people that, you know, they know that I've traded and I've made a living as a trader for a while, and you know, I'm working professionally in crypto and et cetera, et cetera. People see, you know, even CryptoFace is a great example, and I've fallen victim to this as well. I'll wake up in the morning, I'll get a notification. CryptoFace just is doing a live stream and he's doing a trade, and I'll open up the YouTube and see his you know, his trading chart, you know, on Bybit or whatever, and he'll be up like $300,000, and I'm like, man, I suck as a trader compared to this guy. And the that's such a pitfall, because whether you start, which I know I don't think I'm blowing up your spot because you've mentioned this on stream before, Jebb, but whether you start with a $5 purchase, a $1 purchase, a $100 purchase, a $10,000 purchase, the number one thing you can ever do as a disservice to yourself, whether it's in your happiness, your livelihood, your family, no matter anything, is if you live in comparison to something else. So don't do that. What you should be focused on as a trader never has to do with the dollars you're going to earn from a trade. It's what's the consistency of the percentages that you can do. Can you do, if you can consistently 99 out of 100 do 2%, you know, make 2% trades. If you do that, you know, what is it? I can't do the math. 50 times, that's 100%. And not only that, it compounds with each trade. So if you get it 10% on a trade and you're like, man, if I just wait, it'll go to this amount, then I'll get this much more money. Well, that's not going to be a super consistently profitable trading strategy, because the market is volatile, and almost every time, I feel like it's the universe telling you, hey, but I could get more money. That means this is the time to take your profit. Because every time I've done that, I wait 3 minutes, I come back and it reverses 100%. Now I'm down. So focus on consistent, you know, 5, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, even if you get a 20% gain on a trade, ask any professional trader. That is huge. You don't need a 60%.
That's 2 years invested in the stock market.
Yeah.
And that's like exactly how you think of it. If you want to be compared to the trading I did beforehand, is like, how much money could I get on certain index funds spread out? If I wanted to go crazy and do high risk hedge on SPACs and other things like that, completely differentiates what I would do options and calls on, you know, so like, I couldn't agree more.
And at the end of the day, it's you versus you, isn't it? It's not you versus anybody else. Because like Kelly, you said, if somebody's waking up and thinking, oh, I've made a nice sum today, I've made a free figure sum in an hour or something like that, and then they see CryptoFace nearly $500,000 in a couple of minutes, and they'll start, maybe that'll affect a person's psychology if you've got that mindset. You know,
it only happens though if you have $1 million in there, and I mean that's the only reason I traded $250,000 on Twitch, and that was because I started with $50,000 on 3x leverage. It was super easy to make 20-30,000 the second we did have a 20 or 10% move. So yeah, it's really all perspective, and you know that strategy works a lot better when we're not in a bull run or anything like that. It's more of a bear market strategy, and part of the reason why I was able to do that way before all of this happened. So
yeah, but it's just the percentage gains and consistency, and you know, it's like looking at a you know, you see a musician that's incredible, a guitarist or something, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm so inspired by that, and so you get a guitar, whether you buy it or you get it as a gift, whatever, and then 3 days into it, you're like, oh, man, I suck. Well, you know what? Of course you suck. You've had the guitar for 3 days. This goes back to the pain and the sacrifice, like Jebb was saying. You've got to put the work in. You can't immediately be making the same sort of trades or be the same sort of musician as somebody that's been doing it, you know, professionally, and hours and hours and hours and hours every week for the last, you know, 5 to 8, 10, 20 years. So focus on what you're doing. Focus on a lot of historical back analysis with all your different indicators and with how you're seeing charts. Compare it to other people's calls, and you know, see when you've already made your own call. See what other professional analysts are saying, and kind of tune your strategy. But not only from that, tune it to see how the calls are playing out. And if your calls consistently are wrong before you even enter trades, then figure out a way where you can adjust your your trading psychology and your market analysis and your technical analysis so that you can get your eye and your intuition tuned so that you can be as close to consistent and profitable sort of mindset of where you're seeing these trajectories happen. And once you do that, whether you're doing it on like a test net, you know, they have these fake paper trading sites where you can trade fake money. And that's a great way. If you want to see huge gains going there, yeah, do it with fake money. Do $100,000 on 20x leverage. And you'll see real quick. The funny things, it's like it's almost like the world's playing a trick on you, because somehow the first one or two trades you do are super profitable, and then all of a sudden when you crank it up, you know, then you throw on the 30x leverage and you lose it 100%. I mean, that my number one learning moment in crypto was when my arrogance got the best of me, and I was making super profitable trades on spot, but they're, you know, spot trading, so it wasn't huge percentages. And I'm talking, it was like, I would say 90% win rate on my trades, and my losses were good risk management, so I wasn't losing a lot of money. And then I was like, man, if I'm this consistent, why don't I take this up a notch? Why don't I do some leverage trading? And I did 3 trades that were super profitable, and the fourth one, like an absolute idiot, I lost.
And it's gone.
Oh, I lost like I had gotten up to the first $80,000 I'd ever gotten in my life, and in one trade I lost about $65,000. And but you know what? I don't take that as a loss. I take that as a huge win for me, because that was my crypto tuition. That was the best lesson I ever got. And ever since then, I do leverage trading very, very infrequently now. And I do it in very specific set of parameters. And every leverage trade I've made since then has been profitable, but they've been a lot less. The risk matrix is adjusted entirely. I don't, I do it with very specific standards of where my entry is. And this is a key factor in all of trading. If you're actively trading, this isn't for just investing, but when you're actively day trading or swing trading, when you enter your trade, you have a plan on entry what your exit is. You have a plan on entry what your take profits are. And it doesn't matter that the market gets really strong and you just start changing those things. No, you need to have your plan in place, and it doesn't change. That is your plan, and that's what you stick to. And that's when you start seeing a very consistent nature of profit coming in and not so much loss, because you have your strategy. You're not affected emotionally by the market. It's because when you're changing your strategy, that's happening from an emotional place, and part of it is greed, and that's okay. All of us have that, but it's our ability to squash that and do ourselves a service. As Crypto Jebb said, patience is the fuel for profitability. So be patient, because that is the genius by which money is made. Patient.
And I think patience also, I think there's 2 types of patience also, because I'm very good at one type and I'm terrible at the other. So when I said patience earlier, I only meant one of them, but I actually want to emphasize both of them. So what do I mean? The kind of patience I was talking about is waiting years for something. So, I'm comfortable that we want to build $1 billion business, but I'm comfortable that it's going to take 10 years. I'm okay with it taking 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years. But there's also patience in the moment, which is something I'm very bad at. So I actually signed up for a triathlon, and you'll see where I'm going with this. And I'm running the triathlon on March 20th. So I've got about 90 days to train for it. And I suck at cardio, so I've got a lot of work to do. But it's I got to swim a certain amount, bike a certain amount, and run a certain amount. And so I was talking to my dad, has biked all the way across America and regularly will bike 65, 70 miles on a Saturday. And so he's a good person to talk to. And he told me, what you need to do, Jebb, is you need to spend 80% of your and you'll see how this ties into trading. It's the exact same lesson that I'm learning there that's applying here. And that's kind of one way that you can take a lesson from one part of your area, from one area of your life, and apply it to another. He told me you need to train 80% of your time in a heart rate zone based on a calculation that for me is about 145 to 155 beats per minute. So I'm training there and I'm cycling and I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I'm super bored. I know I can go faster. Why am I only going this slow? And I sat there 15 minutes at that heart rate zone and I'm like, this is so super boring. I could go super fast. And then when I finished the exercise, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go all out. So I go up and I get up to like 190 beats per minute. I lasted 15 seconds and I blew myself out because I was completely exhausted. And I think we do the exact same thing in trading, where we say, okay, either one, we could be at this lower level where we're being more consistent and we're able to go indefinitely, because I probably could have sat there at that lower level for 4 hours. But because I jumped up, I burned myself out in 30 seconds. I think we're so tantalized, especially in crypto, by how much money there is to be made, that we want to just go balls to the wall and go get it all now and just say, I want to be super A-type and just go absolutely dominate this market because I want to be trading with $3 million, that we try and go 190 beats per minute when actually we should be sitting here and training at 145 or 150 because that's consistent and that's what we can do for the long run. And the way that plays into trading is that instead of trying to go for 20% on every single trade, which is a fluke unless you are an extremely talented trader, try and go for 1%, try and go for 2%. You know, in the stock market, most people are happy if they get 2% in 3 months, and we're upset that we can't get more than 2% in a 2-hour trading session. I don't think there's anything wrong with pulling back our expectations a lot and then pouring all of that energy that we had put into our massive expectations instead into consistency. Instead of trying to get 20% a day, let's try and get 2% every day for 10 days because that's going to be sustainable, and that's where you're going to get those reps in, and that's where you're really going to grow as a trader and an investor.
And
I agree. A lot of timing comes into that too. Most of my trading wasn't every day. I didn't go out and just every day make 10 grand. No, it
Sure,
came down
exactly.
to waiting for patterns to break. I'm watching 15 different coins, deciding on if we're going to buy in for a swing trade, or is this going to be I'm buying in now on Bybit 2x leverage because I have USDT. You know, there's so many different strategies we're applying, and each one has a different execution. And you're 100% right, Kelly, saying before, when I did trade on stream, all of it 100% from my limit buy, because we didn't market buy, my limit buy, I had a stop loss as well as a take profit, and the trade was set and done from there on out. So, you know, that's why if I lost, I lost. If I got it, I got it. That was the whole point of having a plan and trading, with a motive involved.
I think everybody goes through the same process though, don't they, when they get into crypto? Because you come into crypto, you get the hype, you get the excitement, and then the market will slap you in the face. And when you see someone new coming into the market now, you see them going through the same thing. You see the excitement, and then you know what's coming. The market's going to slap them in the face. You can't help them because it has to do it to learn that lesson. It happens to everybody. But that is the balls to the wall. That's going out for your 190 beats per minute, isn't it, Jebb? That's that moment, and you realise that. So, yeah. But I was just gonna say, guys, it's like nearly 3 a.m. for me. So I hope you enjoyed my Yorkshire accent. I might go have a Yorkshire.
Thank you, Crypto.
See you at the Crypto and Jebb morning show.
Yeah,
Get about 5 hours of sleep. Good luck.
See you later, guys. Thank you.
Well, actually, unfortunately, we won't be on tomorrow because it's Christmas Eve and we're going to be with our family.
But yeah, thanks for joining, brother, and I hope to see you back here. I was gonna say every Thursday, but it's clearly not the case. We've been gone the last 3 weeks. Most Thursdays we're here. Harry and I are here, and we tend to have some nice interactive guests, and we like to interact with everybody here in the audience, listening. And it's all about the community, and that's what this is all about. So thank you so much for joining, Mr. Crypto RL, and have a wonderful night, my brother. And then I know, Eye of the Beholder had something he wanted to say, so let's bring him up.
Yeah, so I've been trading for a while, and I was actually trading back in 2018 before I even knew what. I looked up and researched mining and Bitcoin back in like 2011, and just didn't have the vision. Didn't see, the potential that was there. And hindsight's 2020, but like there's a different mentality for cost dollar averaging and trading. I think I left a super chat on Crypto Jebb's channel about that once, where it's like it's better to have a cost dollar averaging mentality when it comes to trading, and because you're going to be a little bit more conservative, right? I mean, cost dollar averaging, we know where the market's going. It's written on the wall. Fiat is a dumpster fire. So, but so you have to have a different mentality when it comes to crypto than it comes to traditional markets too, because like crypto moves 10 to 20%. Like even big boy Bitcoin moves 10 to 20% at a time when it's pumping or dumping, and like you get 10 to 20% in the trade, and like you're saying, Kelly, like that's impressive. Like that's good for if you shoot for like 1% a day, you're still getting a 3x per year.
Well, that's without the compounding. If you do 1% a day and that compounds 365 days a year, then you're gonna close to 10x your money within the year.
Right. And it's just like people don't have that mentality, and I'm guilty of it myself, you know. But you got to have that long-term mentality when it comes to trading, and that's why I recommend when my family asks me questions about crypto, or I'm talking to some dude about crypto, it's just like a cost dollar average. Just get in the market, you know. That's my mentality.
No, absolutely. And I forget who I was listening to, but they were talking about you know, this and it's understandable when somebody's coming into something like cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or any emerging asset class, or even if you're investing in a business that's new that you've never heard of, that is new to market. There's a lot of questions and ignorance, and I don't mean ignorance like calling somebody out. I mean ignorance like the definition of the literal meaning. Ignorance means to not have knowledge of the, right. So people have, and there's a lot of misinformation that for the last 10 years that has plagued the cryptocurrency market with just, you know, FUD and, you know, this, you know, Bitcoin is used for drugs, but it's like, okay, no, it's first off, no, it's not. And secondly, before Bitcoin ever arrived, every drug that was ever purchased in the world in America was purchased with US dollars. So that's an irrelevant statement, you know. But you have to really, like we said earlier, and we say regularly, it's all about, you know, having a clear vision of investment in yourself first and gaining the knowledge that you need. And if you don't have an answer, if you don't know, don't just read a blog post and then go every time you have a conversation with somebody, argue with them because you know what's up. No, you got to do a little due diligence and dive into it, and it really does a world of good for your own sort of understanding of the market, but also understanding the thing that you were ignorant about. But I'm going to pause for one moment because I just want to shout out. I'm going to bring him up also if he wants to speak. My boy Moby Eats in the house. Is my boy Rick.
What up, Rick?
He's I just invited him to speak. I don't know if he's
I invited him to speak also.
Yeah, Rick is
well,
Moby's he runs a thing called Mojo Heads, which is a NFT project. Incredible.
My first two NFTs, Mojo Heads.
Yeah. There he is. What's up, Rick? How you doing? I know you got 42 different things on the burner right now, and I picked up 3 of your secret mojos, man. I'm so excited about
Whoa, what's up, you guys? How you doing, man?
What's up?
So, hey, Jebb, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you here.
Hey, how you doing, Rick? I haven't heard your voice in a while.
Yeah, right? Dude, Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Man, it's been such a busy fucking week. Thanks, dude. We got to get you one of those.
I would love one.
By the way, Jebb.
That's your Moby friend.
What's up?
I don't know if I minted yours yet, but I've got an avatar designed specifically for you. I don't know if you've seen it.
Aw.
But
I don't think I have.
But I'm about to mint it.
Oh, wait, no, I have. Kelly showed it to me. That's right. No, I have seen it. I love it.
I'm about to mint your handsome face to the blockchain. It'll be an NFT. I'm going to send them all to you. You can do whatever you want with them. They'll have a little bit of utility in our universe. It's going to be so cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, man. You'll be part of the Mojoverse, man, whether you like it or not.
I want to be. I love it.
That's so sick. But hey, Moby, we got a pretty good listener group here in our chat today. And I mean, you came on, you're awesome. I've known you for over a decade, and I'm so proud to see what you've done in this space. You know, you and I kind of dove in around the same time into crypto, and it's so amazing and wonderful to see not only that you're developing this NFT project and also the Mojo IDs page, and also potentially a cryptocurrency in the future. But one of my favorite things about it is all your projects are mission driven. And the mission is community, and the mission within community is giving back. It's the supporting artists. It's like you're like the inception. I always tell people you're like the inception of the NFT business, because your NFTs are of artists that make NFTs, which I think is so awesome.
NFT inception.
Yeah,
that's
but
great,
why don't
man.
you, if you have anything coming up or what you're doing, and also I did make a brief mention about your secret mojos, but if you want to give a little blurb or a shout out to anything you got going on right now, definitely share it with the community, because you got so much cool stuff happening, brother.
Yeah, thanks for the space, man. I really appreciate it. I know everybody here is probably here for crypto answers, but really fast about my project. We are, I started in crypto real quick. I started in crypto. I've been doing crypto trading for about 5 or 6 years now. And I moved over into NFTs because they just add a fully brand new advanced element to the whole token system. So with the amount of properties that you can have for something like an NFT, it just opens up a whole new world of gamification, as well as more advanced style community building that we're doing here at Mojo Heads. So Mojo Heads is an idea that really sprung up after I started to buy artwork directly from independent artists on platforms like Foundation and OpenSea. And it's a crazy thing that happens when you buy artwork from an independent artist. First off, I had no idea that most of them still struggle. I thought the struggling artist was done after NFTs. I thought they were all just balling, but it's not true at all. After I bought my first piece of artwork, I felt all this love from not only the artists themselves, but all the friendships. So I got DMs from the friends of artists, almost like they wanted my autograph for buying something that I wanted to collect. And I thought that was fucking fascinating. So at that moment, the next day, I started to draw up different plans on how we could help artists in the space. And so what we did is, the first product that we have is called Mojo Heads. And the whole idea behind it is to put their face on an NFT using our emoji team. So we're an emoji company. And so we emojify all of these artists, put them on the blockchain, and sell them as NFTs. It's an amazing collection. We do.
Yeah, they're kind of like, from what I understand and what I've seen, it's kind of like having trading cards of like new rookie cards from like new baseball players. It's the same sort of premise, but for artists.
That's exactly right. So we have one of the fastest growing artist communities, but more importantly, it's a 2-year journey. We're going to have over 10,000 of these NFTs, only 504 right now, but we're making partnerships with as many artists as we possibly can. And we just launched a brand new project called Secret Mojo, which is literally just a Christmas gift NFT. We have not disclosed what's inside the gift. We just wanted to launch something really cool for the holidays. And so what's inside the gift will be revealed in about 3 weeks. If you guys want to grab them, we just launched a promotion today, actually about 30 minutes ago. If you buy 3 Secret Mojo NFT gifts, you will get one for free, or you'll be able to claim one for free. So check out if you guys are interested, check out my Twitter. I don't want to shill beyond what I've already shilled, but I do. I am super excited about it. If you look at my track record as far as everything we've ever sold, the amount of value that we have today is very, very impressive. So, Kelly can always speak on my behalf about everything we're doing and the community that we've built here. So, and Crypto Vet too, as well as Jebb.
Absolutely. And also on my Twitter, I'm about to post right now. I'm going to shout you out, and I'm sharing a screenshot of one of the secret mojos that I got from you. And it's so cool because I think you're doing 5,000 if I'm not mistaken. And each one of these, I think you're revealing them on, I think they're only available for the next like 6 or 7 days, I think. And you're revealing which everybody's going to get a different thing. And it might be a crazy NFT. It might be something super valuable. It might be something utility based. Nobody knows what they're going to get, which is so cool. But every one of them is going to have, the value of what you're investing. And it might be more, it might be something super awesome, but I think it's such a cool idea, especially right around the holidays. And one of my favorite things about this, and this goes back to my first introduction to you, is that I know that 20% of, I think you said 20% of all the proceeds that you earn in your company, that you put that back into supporting and buying art from artists on, within the NFT community, which I think is phenomenal. It's such a good way to keep it cyclical, almost like a tithing back into the art community of which you are operating within, which I think is awesome.
It's absolutely right. We want to give back way more than we receive, excuse me. And, in the NFT world, all you have is your reputation. So the last thing I want to do is, try and sell a bunch of NFTs that are just this glamorous present for Christmas, and then not give you anything that's way beyond the value of the NFT. So you can bet that what's packed inside there is going to be far more valuable than what you're going to pay.
So if anybody's at all curious about what this actually is, if you go over to my Twitter, you can either click on my thing and go directly to my Twitter, or just go to Kelly Kellam, Keloy Kellam, and I just shared a post about the secret mojos. It's so cool, man. I can't wait to see what's going on there. But other than that, Mr. NFT man, you're also you're what I think 99% of the people in the crypto space aspire to be. You know, I'm but a wee little tadpole.
He's my spirit animal.
And you're I wouldn't call you a blue whale, but you're definitely a very, very overweight dolphin, if not a small whale.
Overweight dolphin,
you know,
for sure.
Yeah. So with your knowledge of the market, and what you see going on, do you have anything that's been jumping out at you right now with what's going on with the market cycle, or where, you know, the breakout or potentialities, or anything that comes to mind with the market in general?
Yeah, I mean, I wish that I put more money into Aave when it was at 160, I believe, and that was one where I did put a lot, right around 190. But yeah, man, I like what I'm seeing today. I think everybody is. So I'm very confident. You know, it's funny because when you watch videos on YouTube, you have so many different perspectives, and one person just gives you so much confidence. You just want to go all in, and then the next YouTuber will basically tell you, like Four Flies, like, oh, this looks like a dead cat, or, you know, a bull trap, and we're going straight down. Look at all this resistance going in certain directions, and you're just like, okay, well, let me just go with what I think is going to happen. And so, yeah, I pretty much, you know, I mean, I'm in it for the long term. I'm very happy with my positions. So, you know, and when I look at my positions, I also look at crypto versus NFTs. And so I like to be at least 80% crypto, about 20% NFTs. And so it's tough for me to really look deep into altcoins these days because I'm so busy with my projects. But I have my positions, and I'm just ready to let it fly.
Hey, Moby, I got a question for you.
Yeah, absolutely. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How
Doing
you
wonderful,
doing?
man.
So as a guy that's been on the sidelines, I have no NFTs. I've researched them, interested in them, but I don't know, you know, not sure which projects to get into. What do NFTs mean to you? And like, like, is that what drives you in the crypto space?
Yeah, I mean, you know, crypto profits drive me in the crypto space, right? So I'm in crypto for profits. When it comes to NFTs, it adds a huge layer of community, because you can do so much with NFTs. And I'll give you an example. You know, we have our collectibles. The Mojo Head collectibles are just one NFT that we have. We can use those collectibles in order to then provide utility and rewards for people. Just like I guess you could for staking coins. The difference between an NFT is that you have each one being independent of each other. So one NFT might provide more value than another NFT, right? Where one ETH is still just one ETH, no matter which one you have. And so the gamification that goes into NFTs just opens up so many possibilities. Later on, we're going to have an NFT where you're actually going to register a sequence of emojis and use that as your internet identity. And so imagine, like, you know, name any two emojis, right? Like Coin Rocket. If you own just that NFT, you own the sequence Coin Rocket. And you can take that anywhere you go, put it next to your name in Twitter, put it in a keychain on your backpack, whatever it might be. And imagine somebody looking at that keychain and saying, okay, I have the beholder is Coin Rocket. That's all I need to remember. Let me go look him up right now. That's his NFT. Yep. I am now verifying his digital ownership of this. And now your identity can be tied to those two emojis, for example. So it goes way beyond anything that I've just said, right? There's NFTs for games, like, you know, game accessories, or the metaverse, having like certain clothing or land in the metaverse. All of that is NFT related. So yeah, I could talk forever about this subject.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one of the things, and I was having a discussion with somebody about 2 days ago about, I think the biggest misconception, and I don't think it's a disservice, but the biggest misconception about NFTs. Excuse me, I got a call. Biggest misconception about NFTs is the fact that art is the thing that popularized them. And so a lot of people think, well, why the hell is this silly, graphic somebody did on their computer worth $20 million or 10 million? Well, that's obviously, one, a super rare case. And two, that's just something that popularized it. The art is what popularized NFTs, but what that art you're actually seeing isn't what the value of that NFT is. It's actually, that art is just the avatar for the underlying smart contract that the NFT is on. And the interesting thing about NFTs isn't the art that's involved in all these things. The interesting thing about NFTs is that NFTs, I see in 5 years, 10 years, whatever it's going to be, it could be 3 years. It's going to be something where our medical records are going to be NFTs. When you buy a car, instead of going to sign a deed thing and taking it to the Department of whatever, or a house trying to get a deed and taking it to City Hall to sign over, ownership of this or that, or that's kind of ridiculous. How
Only the beginning.
Somebody needs to mute themselves. Oh, it's only the beginning. Sorry, I thought it was background chatter. Yeah, it's only the beginning, and basically proof of ownership. Like I said, your house, medical records, instead of having a punch card for Subway, when you get your 10th thing, you get your sandwich free. Rather than that, you're going to get a privatized NFT for various companies, and it's whatever venues or concert tickets or NFTs. All these things basically make things verifiable so it can't be scammed. Music and movies, I guarantee within 5 years, if you're not going to be able to pirate new music, because in order to get the music, you're going to have an NFT license to access it. So if you try to pirate it in some way and sell it to somebody else, or just send it to them, they're not going to be able to play it, because it is proof of ownership based on an NFT with a smart contract. Being able to snapshot NFTs as they are now and take a screenshot, there's going to be new software that comes out as all these things develop, and you're not going to be able to do that. So the whole point about this isn't the limiting factor. The smart thing about it is, think of it as a content creator, and what alludes to value or lends value to something. Bitcoin is valuable because of the proof of ownership, the proof of scarcity. So any content creator of any sort wants to make sure that the content that they create is protected in a way that basically protects the value of it, so that you can continue building in that field that you're working on. So there's so much that goes into NFTs beyond the art that we're seeing right now. The art is just kind of a proof of concept, I think, that is now starting to have utility on it, and it's incredible. But I know Crypto Vet probably has a lot of stuff to say on this as well, because he's deeply involved in a number of different NFT projects, and I'm sure. I'd love to hear his thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, I agree with Rick 100%, and you guys here with NFTs and their value. And it's part of the reason why I've been reevaluating how the market cycles will play out, and how things will, or how I'll hedge against a potential bear market or a potential lengthening cycle, all of that together. And that was the main reason I actually stopped. I stopped working as a veterinarian to do the YouTube channel and all that, and then afterwards ended up going back to work for Pennyfly Entertainment, who Jet, which we've had on the show. Jebb, I'm not sure if you've met Jet yet, but he's my manager and also the CEO of Pennyfly Entertainment. If you want to hear him sing, he'll actually be doing crypto caroling tomorrow under the Dash League account. So it's actually pretty awesome, because he's a phenomenal singer, and he'll be at home with a beautiful piano and stuff. So we thought we'd try something new, and he said he'd sing a whole damn set list for everybody. So that's going to be super, super cool. But we're trying to do exactly what you're saying, implement new things with NFTs, and the utility behind them is just the beginning. And this is where me and Moby really talked deep a couple weeks ago. And it's just, every smart contract, everything you do in DeFi and on the blockchain, you can hone in with an NFT and give it utility, and that utility can be built around a community. And let's say, just for crypto Jebb's sake here, he has a very, very large following, 250,000 plus. And if, let's say, he's going to be somewhere, if they hold a crypto Jebb NFT, and they come participate in an event, there could be revenue that's generated from the NFT, and that's just only the beginning, right? Also, going to this event could transmit a thing in the contract that evolves the NFT, and only people who actually go everywhere and are OGs that go to all these events, they are going to have the badass Jedi Knight NFT that shows that they got, that they are the badass. So this is just the beginning on how NFTs can go. We're also doing Dash League as far as the gaming portion and using your NFT to actually make you money, right? Because you evolve your NFT, you change what it looks like, you change what it can do in the game, thus you can get a return based off of that. So, you can bypass a lot of gray areas in crypto, but you can still have an NFT and just play a game and not have to worry about anything else. So in the end, NFTs, the metaverse, crypto is going to be a part of everybody's life in some way, shape, or form. Which industry it is just going to take time before it gets adopted.
Oh, absolutely. And this is kind of using Rick Moby's as an example. He's got a number of different things that he's done with NFTs. For instance, he's got a thing that he released initially. You can see his avatar right now. It's part of a limited series that he had done a while ago. I think this is probably an update from that, but he released a whole series, a limited run, and it wasn't many. I think it was 40 or less, something like that, of these things called Moby Friends. And when people bought these Moby Friends initially, some people might have thought that they were just buying an NFT. Maybe they thought they were supporting their buddy. Maybe it doesn't matter what it is. There was utility that he built into these NFTs that now, as he's launching these other projects, these people that own the NFT basically get like an early entry pass to it, or a pre-mint pass, or they get early access to participate in new projects that he's doing because they have this NFT. And just like Crypto Vet was saying, there's so many different use. And the funny thing about it is right now, these use cases that we're even speculating on that already seem pretty incredibly there's so much growth with them. There are somewhere between 722 gajillion and 523 million 265 gajillion different opportunities that we haven't even fathomed as possible yet with the use cases of all these, which is just as an incredible thing. The NFT space is in some ways, riding on top of the blockchain crypto space, but in some ways, in a lot of ways, in more ways than it being a part of the blockchain space, I honestly think that it's actually, in a bizarre way, kind of carved out its own unique sector that's almost separate from the blockchain space, that just rides in parallel with it and complements it in ways that we have yet to even seen. And I think it's really incredible. And I just remember when I first started seeing NFTs, I'm case point number one. I had the same initial thought a lot of people did that don't understand it, which is, this is so stupid. What the hell is this? This is blah, blah, blah. And then once I started looking into it, I was like, man, I'm so ignorant. I know not what I don't know. I shall learn. I shall seek the information. And every single day. And Rick has been a little bit of the black hole of a gravity pulling me towards that way. And the second he got me barely across the time horizon, I am just rocket shipping it. Like I'm reallocating my portfolio so I can release funds, so I can go and buy this NFT and do this, and make sure I get access to this NFT and have it in my portfolio, so that then it will give me access to future runs of these other projects. It's a really it's one of the most incredibly interactive community building tools that I've seen in my lifetime, and there's no telling where it's going to go from here. And it's pretty cool that my buddy sucked me into it, and he's so active in this space, and one of the pioneers. And so I thank you, Rick, for sucking me in there, brother.
Hey man, my pleasure, dude. No homo, of course. But
you bastard, Rick.
Oh, can I shout you out one more thing, Rick? Rick, here is an excellent example of NFTs. And this is so gosh darn cool. Rick, if anybody knows who Gary Vaynerchuk is, he's one of the especially in the States here, he's just everybody knows who he is. And if they don't, it's just the second you show people his face, they're like, oh yeah, that guy, the inspirational guy that's always on YouTube that has a foul mouth, but he really inspires you to get shit done. He's incredible. A lot of people know him as Gary V, but he's released a bunch of these NFT series. And earlier this year, like way early in the year, he released a series where there was NFTs that when you bought these NFTs, every NFT had a very different and very specific utility that gave you access to something different. And one of the NFTs that Rick got was a thing called Podcast Panther. And by getting this NFT, not only are you having the value of the NFT, which it has a pretty significant floor price, so that's its own value. Separate from that, or in addition to that, it also had its own utility that people that owned this NFT had access to a certain number of guest spots to bring Gary Vee on their own podcast and do interview series or whatever. And Rick just did, I think, the first one almost a month ago now, if I'm not mistaken, at least 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks ago. And they did it live for the Mojo Head community, but then they recorded it, of course, and they did a video version. You know, they showed the basically Zoom call or however it was produced on YouTube. And it's got so much good information in there, not only about crypto markets. I'm talking about just the state of happiness and how to manage happiness in your life, and, you know, balancing that with cryptocurrency, entrepreneurial things. A really great podcast. But that's an example of something that you can do with NFTs. And I thought it's really cool. But you could tell us more about that, Rick. Were there any other use cases or any other NFTs you got from him that have some cool things going on?
Yeah, so Gary launched a collection of 10,000 different NFTs. What's interesting about it was each NFT was actual just a doodle. If you look at the NFTs just for the artwork, you would say, how is that worth anything, right? Of course, it was Gary Vee, so it's worth something. But what he did was kind of revolutionary back in the day, and he launched these in May. He added access level memberships to each token. And so at the very base level, you got access to a brand new convention that he's going to be launching called VCon. For the next 3 years, that NFT gives you access, right? So it acts as the ticket to the conference. And the only way to get into the conference is with one of the VFriends. In addition, he had more advanced access level tokens. And one of them that I bought was called the Podcast Panther. It gave probably the highest level, which is an actual podcast, 40 minutes interview with Gary twice, one this year, one next year. And so I definitely wanted that. All I knew was that I needed to probably start a podcast and figure out how to do a podcast in order to actually fulfill this role of interviewing Gary Vee. And so we now have a weekly podcast called Mojo Live. And a lot of it is just based on the fact that I just bought this NFT impulsively or semi-impulsively. And I just put the video up on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check it out, go to my Twitter. From there, just scroll down. The video's not too far. And man, I was terrified to actually do something like that. I'm a true introvert. I'm not really quite as charismatic as Jebb here and Kelly, but I got it done, and I'm super proud of it.
Yes, you are. Stop it, Rick.
Fuck off, man. I'm an introvert through and through, man. but yeah, that kind of covers the VFriends.
To hear about your projects, and I've been a part of them as well. I didn't have a chance to mention that because Kelly was going over everything very well, and I'm really excited to see where things go. I got 2 Mojo heads. I will probably give one of mine away. You know me, I don't like to keep too much stuff to myself, so I'll keep the one cool one for now. But the metaverse and NFTs is just the beginning. I can't wait. We're all going to get to watch this together.
I'm curious when Jebb's going to come out with his own series of NFTs for his fans.
I'll have to convince him of that. He's got to rap with me first.
I'm nudging him along in a couple of different ways. I know before I came on the show is very specifically targeted towards Bitcoin technical analysis. And now in the show I'm talking about for listeners here, if they're not aware, Crypto Jebb, he's got a morning show called Coffee and Crypto on YouTube every morning. And it's a fairly popular show. He's got several 100,000 followers, and I'm the head content creator and researcher and technical analyst. So, and while I'm here in Florida, I've been on the show every day for the last couple of days, and I'll be here for a few more weeks. But now we've shaped the show now to where it's, we get a very broad view of the market. We dive into some specific altcoins. We also do some altcoins that are shouted out. We don't just do shout out sort of altcoins, from requests, but we have a very organized show that we try to cover the main news articles that might be shaping what's going on. Some of the context, as I spoke about earlier, when we're doing technical analysis on where the price could go and why it might be doing what it's doing. And so, yeah, we're growing very fast. And I don't mean growing by numbers. I mean growing in the breadth of which we're trying to cover and the value, the level of value that we're trying to cover within the show. We've got a lot of incredible content that we've been working on about, other than doing the show in the morning and preparing for it for a few hours before. We're also doing another, 7 to 9 hours every day of the week. We take the weekends off, but really building out and structuring some and planning some really incredible content all about value and making sure that we can give people any tool that they need, and not only the tool, but the understanding of every one of those tools so that they can trade the best possible and most profitable and consistent way possible. But I will say, I know we've already eclipsed 2 hours here, which is amazing. And I'm not going to necessarily cut this short, but I will say, one, thank you everybody for tuning in. My name's Kellam. We got Crypto Vet here, who also co-hosts with me. We tend to do as often as possible. We try to do about once a week on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Twitter space is here called Crypto Answered. But you can also always reach out to me anytime. If I don't respond to you, sometimes messages go to the folder for people that aren't following you yet. And I try to check it about once a week, and I'll see people have messaged me, and I do try to get back to you. So if you got questions, definitely tune in there. And also, I'm always in the chat on the Crypto Jebb morning show. They're on YouTube. It's every day at 9:30 in the morning. But to sort of wrap this out a little bit, I know this what's his name, Ryan here has been requested for a while, so we'll let him have the last question or comment, and we'll wrap on that for a little bit, and then we'll all go and enjoy our Christmas Eve, and then dive into the happy holiday and enjoy, hopefully, counting some green candles and climbing that staircase back to where we want to be. So Ryan, I'm bringing you up right now. I'm adding you as a speaker. So go ahead and jump in as soon as it connects, and you unmute yourself. You're good to go, Ryan. Go ahead, ask your question.
I appreciate it, guys. No, I just saw Crypto Jebb and company we're in here, and I just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. No questions for this evening.
Oh, right on.
Oh, yeah. Well, happy holidays to you as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I tune into Coffee and Crypto every single day, and really enjoy the technical analysis and the quality of the content that you guys push out. So yeah, please enjoy your holidays with your families and loved ones, and have a wonderful evening.
Oh yeah, that goes out to everyone.
Yeah, we appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody that's jumped in here and has joined us for this epic episode of Crypto Answered. I think Crypto Vet is actually recording this episode, so I might be sharing a link on my wall if for any future listens or
I'll get that up.
Getting the word out there a bit more. And I want to also thank Crypto Jebb, who tuned in. I think he stepped away. He was having some issues with his phone. Crypto Jebb, the whole Crypto Jebb team is such a wonderful addition to the whole crypto atmosphere and ecosystem, because it's such a balanced and a view full of integrity and just wonderful group of people. And Rick, you're an inspiration to me as a man and as a businessman and as an NFT. Like what did I call you? An overweight dolphin. Because you're almost
best term ever.
Yeah, it's just everybody's so wonderful, and Crypto Vet, I appreciate you as always. You're my crypto brother here. Thank
always
you for hosting these Crypto Answer Twitter Spaces, my man.
Anytime.
With that, I'll say happy holidays and Merry Mother Christmas, baby. Everybody have a wonderful weekend and enjoy yourself, enjoy your family, enjoy the charts while they're growing up. Protect yourself. Always look out for the opposite direction you don't think it'll go. Protect yourself and keep trading, and we'll see you back here hopefully next Thursday. Adios, everybody.